Hello everyone, welcome to funnel2tunnel.com. Today we'll be discussing about Register of Lifting Appliances and Loose Gear, which is popularly known as Chain and Machinery Register. Let's move on and see what this document is all about. Chain and Machinery Register is required by the dock labor regulations, which are the regulations made by the International Labour Organization. And it has been directed to all the countries of the world, especially maritime countries in the world, and the labor organizations and authorities which are regulating the labor work in those countries to make certain rules and regulations with respect to the safety, health, and welfare of the dock workers. What was happening was a lot of accidents were taking place initially in the late 1900s, especially when the shipping was booming, and a lot of accidents were taking place because a lot of unsafe practices were being followed. No one was giving heed to the plight of the dock workers. The equipment, the lifting appliances being used were not up to the mark. Also, the working conditions were not very good. For example, toilet facilities or drinking water facilities or safety standards as a whole were not up to the mark. So as a result, a lot of accidents were taking place, and people were losing their lives. This dock workers regulation came into force. Dock labor regulations basically necessitated the need for a register of lifting appliances and loose gear, which is popularly known as the chain and machinery register. So let us understand that what is chain and machinery register. It is required that all the lifting appliances and loose gears are need to be inspected prior putting into use, and also they're required to be tested periodically. This is just for the safety of the dock workers who are working on board the ships during loading and discharging operations. So, a chain and machinery register is basically required in order to keep a record of such kind of testing, and this is basically endorsed by the testing facility or the testing establishment by a competent person. As per the dock labor regulation, all the lifting appliances and their loose gears are required to be inspected prior putting to use, and a thorough examination of the same is required every year. The chain and machinery register is a standard format register which is recommended by the ILO and is being used by almost every maritime country in the world. The lifting appliances includes the cranes like gantry cranes or other type of cranes, derricks if ships have, but I really doubt that modern ships have derrick. So all type of cranes are basically taken into consideration when we are talking about lifting appliances. When we talk about loose gears, the loose gears consist of hooks, swivels, chains, slings, lifting beam, container spreaders. The next very important term which we should know about is the competent person. Competent person is a person who belongs to a testing facility and also approved and authorized by the chief examiner of the testing establishment in a particular country, and his job basically is to carry out the initial inspection, thorough examination of the lifting appliances and the loose gears, and he's the same person who will endorse such results in the chain and machinery register. To make it simple, the person who is looking after the testing and the examination of the loose gears and lifting appliances and making an entry in the chain and machinery register is the competent person. This register consists of three parts. Part 1 deals with the initial and periodical load testing of lifting appliances and their annual thorough examination. The part 2 consists of initial and periodical load test of the loose gears and their annual thorough examination, while part 3 deals with annealing of chain, rings, hooks, shackles, etc. Basically loose gears. The chain and machinery register is form 2. You can see here it's form 2. So what is form 1? The form 1 basically a notice which is given by the dock workers to the ship's master or the owners or the ship's officer to declare to them that the loading or the discharging operation in a particular hold or a number of holds has been completed. Form 1 basically is a standardized format of that kind of a declaration. For your information, I can show you the declaration. So this is the declaration which we are talking about of Form 1. This is a notice which the dock workers give to the owner, master, and the officer in charge, stating that the loading or unloading operations have been completed. So I hardly see people giving Form 1 to the ship's officer. So coming back to chain and machinery register, this register has been issued by the class. In this case, the class is IRS in Registry of Shipping, and they have already endorsed this register using their stamp and the signature. Then on the second page, we have got general instructions given to the person who is carrying out the test and also to the ship's officers. Then comes the certification part. Like I said, chain and machine register is Form 2. Form 3 is the certificate of initial and periodical test, which belongs to the winches, derricks, and their accessory gear. So this is Form 3. So Form 3 is just a certificate. Then comes Form 4. Form 4 again, it's a certificate, and it belongs to the cranes of hoist and their accessory gear. Form 5 is initial and periodical testing certificate of the loose gear. Form 6 belongs to the wire ropes, and Form 7 belongs to the loose gear, which are exempted from annealing. So their certificate of annual thorough examination before loose gear exempted from annealing. If you see the first line, the certification forms to be in conjunction with this register as follows. So this all certificates, these are certificates. Please do not mistake this thing with the sort of a register. They are called forms, but they are basically certificates and are required to be kept alongside the chain and machinery register. Then we have got instructions for entries, how to make entries in the register. Also, we have got certain definition. Let's go to the part 1, which is the initial and periodical load testing of lifting appliances and their annual thorough examination. If you see that this vessel had a gantry crane, and already they have made an entry, and also the test certificate number has been mentioned in the second column. This situation was a change of class in which the class Bureau Veritas already carried out the initial and periodical testing of the lifting appliances, but has been endorsed on that testing certificate by the competent person in India. So you can see that this testing was done by the class BV. So over here you can see that the cranes being tested are the gantry cranes, and the test certificate number has already been mentioned, and it was issued by the class BV and been endorsed by the competent person from an Indian testing establishment. Let's go to the part B, which is the thorough examination. So if you see that they have already made remarks about the annual thorough examination, which has been carried out for 3 number gantry cranes, 1 number provision crane, and 1 number engine room overhead traveling crane, and found satisfactory. They have already made remarks and given the date and signature with the Part 2 is the initial and periodical load testing of loose gears and their annual thorough examination. So again, you can check out over here as per the test certificate they have already generated for this, and what all things have been tested, like the test certificate number, the date of the testing, and the endorsement. So this is part 2. Again, we have got a thorough examination, an annual thorough examination being done for the loose gears of the gantry of the lifting appliances basically, and also of the grabs over here. So whatever loose gears which we have in conjunction with the lifting appliances, we'll be testing and doing an annual thorough examination of it, and basically done by the competent person and endorsed. Then comes the part 3, which is annealing of chains, rings, hooks, shackles, and swivels. On today's modern ships, almost all of the loose gears are made up of steel. And if you see, they have already made a remark over here stating, as all the loose gears are made up of steel, the annealing is exempted. Nowadays, most of the loose gears on the modern ships are made up of steel, and therefore annealing is exempted. Then for your information, I have included over here Form 4, which we discussed, like there are almost 7 forms, and I'm just giving you an example of Form 4 over here since I had this in my records, so therefore I'm showing you. Now Form 4 was something which was related to the examination of cranes or hoist and their accessory gear. Form 2, that is the chain and machine register, is the only record of the testing, while the other forms except form number 1 are all a certificate format. Form 3 to Form 7 should be a part of chain and machinery register. So records of such certificate shall be kept with the chain and machinery register. So over here it is something which is related to the cranes or hoist and their accessory gear. So that's it for the chain and machinery register. So thank you so much for watching this video on chain and machine register. I hope that I was able to answer to your queries. Just in case if you have got any other query, you can always ask us in the comment section below. Also, follow funnel2tunnel.com for reading a wide range of blogs on various maritime topics and keeping yourself abreast of the latest shipping news and the new things which are happening in the maritime world. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.